Are you tired of ads on YouTube videos that you just can't skip or have to wait way too long to skip? Well, I have a solution to all of this. There are no ad blockers or third-party software required, and you can do this in 2 seconds when there are ads. However, before I give the strategy, I just want to point out that this only works when you click onto a video for the first time. Otherwise, it is not going to function properly. But without further ado, here is the method. So what you have to do is this. Every time you click onto a video, if an ad starts playing, you click the back arrow to send the page back, and then click the forward arrow to send the page back forward. This should remove the ad. If you cannot use the back arrow for any reason, you should click on the profile picture of the channel, and then hit the back arrow. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Bye.